Alexa's dreaming now, drifting off my couch. We walked down streets she's walked 1,000 times. At 3 a.m. at night, under palm tree lights, for the first time I came alive when summer died. I didn't want it to close its eyes on me. I shook off every warning. Sometimes you gotta know when to say goodbye. It didn't hurt at first, singing every word, but when I finally cut through blurry lines, I was horrified. Raining in my room, been that way since June. By the time it dried, I came alive and summer died. Alexa's waking up, water in her cup. Simpler times, I never cried when summer died. We've been up for way too long, but I don't wanna come down. Caught up in a long free fall, you got me off of the ground. Sway for a minute, but play move side to side. One way ticket, I want you in my life. Feel a mile high.
Hello guys, so let's do a quick reading update. We wish to make it a quick reading update because we have a lot of books to talk about. 5 books that I read and 2 books that I'm currently reading, so let's get started real fast. First book that we're going to talk about is Nothing More to Tell by Karen M. McManus. First thing first, very disappointing, hated it, 1 star. This is like barely a thriller, barely a murder mystery. There was nothing of mysterious in this book. I had guessed that okay, one of these 2 people is going to be a murderer for whatsoever reason. In the last 5 page, which is the epilogue of this book, it tells what actually happened and who is the real killer. Very badly executed throughout the book. I didn't feel like that I'm reading a mystery or a thriller book. I felt like I'm reading a teenage romance book. They're going to college, there is sexual tension, That's it. There is no solving, no detecting, nothing. This author was so hyped up. That's why I picked up this book. This book is so hyped up in itself. That's why I picked up this book. I like the premises of it, but it's such a big disappointment. This was told you what it is about, but I'm going to quickly recap. A girl has returned to the town that she lived before 4 years ago, and 4 years ago her teacher died, her favorite teacher died, and three students found him, and one of them is the best friend of this girl, the protagonist, and she thinks that he is hiding something, but what exactly? Now when she's back, she is doing an internship at a podcast company where they talk about mysteries and murder mysteries and what's so not, and now she thinks it's the right time to investigate what actually happened to her teacher. Okay, that's the premise. It's very interesting, right? But so disappointing. This book was disappointing. 1 star, wastage of money and space. I was harsh, I know, but I feel really bad when a mystery goes wrong. Next book that I read is Diary of a Wimpy Kid by Jeff Kinney. For children, for children. It's like for children, okay? Troubles of a teenage boy and his elder brother. His elder brother is in a band. Not the band's not really working, but they are doing all of that they could to save their band. It's like very funny, cute, great for children. Okay, very good for children, but not as per my taste. So next book. Yes, don't look at me. Don't look at me like that. I know, I'm disappointed. I mean, Murakami is my favorite author, but I didn't like this book. I'm disappointed. It was like 2 stars for me. This is a non-fiction, okay, non-fiction, where he talks about his running habit. Okay, he's a marathon runner. Okay, he runs a lot, and he's talking about that. The title says that what I talk about when I talk about running, but the cover picture has a pen nib, which I thought that he's going to talk about writing as well, which he has, but it's just 5% of the book. Other 95% is just about running, and which I'm not interested. Obviously the writing is immaculate, beautiful, gorgeous, shining, but the content didn't interest me. That's why it was a 2 star for me. I feel really bad because this is a second book in row by Murakami that didn't make up to my list, didn't make up to my expectations. So yeah. And next book that I read is The Night Circus by Erin Mongerston. For a change, this book 4 stars. Okay, amazing. I understand the hype, why it is so hyped up, why people love this book so much, why this author is so hyped up, why is everybody waiting for his next book. I understand. It is very atmospheric, very vibey, characters are immaculate. The only thing that disappointed me, or rather confused me, is the way they have used time. You know that this book is in 2 time frames, like one is past, one is present, so we are reading in that way, but it has no order. The time can change any time, and you wouldn't know how much the character has grown in the age, so you can't really relate. Okay, now this character was 15, but now you have to calculate, okay, this much time has passed, so this character must be this age. So it is confusing for me because this character was already very mature when he was 15. When they reach 30, there is no change. They're already mature. So there is like no shift. So you cannot really tell if they have changed a little bit. So then you can tell, okay, now they have grown a little bit. So I cannot imagine them the same way anyway. So it's a lot of confusion. I have to imagine the whole character, how he looks, what the age is. That was a big problem for me. That's why it couldn't reach 5 stars, but beautiful, immaculate. The story is basically a circus, two magicians. They're somehow competing with each other. It's not like the regular competing, dueling, or throwing chants at each other, and not like Harry Potter. It's a different kind of competition. Their respective teachers have pit them against each other, but they somehow end up falling in love. So it's kind of rivals to lovers plot as well. There are a lot of characters that have impact on this particular circus that's running. The circus is amazing, beautiful. The writing is so lyrical, so atmospheric. It is a perfect read for autumn or winters, both the time. You could get this book. It's not really that pricey on Flipkart. Beautiful. Okay. And one book that I read, ebook, is called 8 Perfect Murders. I do not particularly remember the author, but that's what the title is. Nice book. Okay, very good book. 4 stars. It was amazing. The plot is like this. There is this bookseller. He has a bookstore, okay, and he has a book blog post as well, where he posts different bookish recommendations where people can see through the list and get their favorite books, like that. So years ago, he had this one article posted where he wrote 8 different books from 8 different authors that he recommended to people, and he considers those 8 books as perfect murders. Now, years after, that post is public, right? So one of the readers has got hold of that list and following that list to commit perfect murders, and police has got hold onto it, and they have reached our protagonist, the bookseller, and they're questioning him, what is this? You wrote a list and now somebody is following it to commit murders. So is it you? Or if it's not you, help us to get whoever it is. So amazing, we don't know who is it, and there's his personal problem going on, his personal history, his personal dark secretive past, and this sideways we see this murder thing going on where he's being seeked to help the police out. Ending, I did not see it coming. What a thought-provoking book. I kept thinking about it. So amazing, 4 stars for me. So now let's talk about the books that I'm currently reading. First of all, this book. I'm reading Six of Crows by Liber Dugo. I have read about 200 pages in this book and I'm already a fan. What do I even tell you? This is amazing. I'm not going to tell you a lot about it, just that it's a fantasy book, okay? It's a fantasy book. So it's a fantasy land. 6 misfits. They don't fit with each other, but they are a group now because they have to commit a heist. They have to steal one person. That particular person has a chemical formula that makes a particular drug that enhances the magical ability of few people who have the magical ability, that could be used in a very, very negative sense. If that drug comes out in the market, wars will break out, people will suffer, and what not. Magic will be out of hand. That is why the government have hired this 6 people, basically hired that one person, and he gathered this group of people, and they have to commit that heist from the most infamous prison in their fantasy land that is impossible to break into, and they have to free that person from out there to save the world. Okay, so the 6 people are, one is a convict, which means he is a person who escaped from the jail and he has thirst for revenge. Something happened, I guess. And a sharpshooter, a runaway kid, 15-16 years old, a spy, a heart render. A heart render is a person who can curl her fingers like this and can stop your heart. She can control your organs from standing this much away from you, okay? And a thief. So these 6 people gather and commit that heist. The thing is, all of them are from 16 to 18 years of range, but when I read, I always forget that they are only 16 to 18. They are younger than me, but the way the author has written them, they feel like 40-50-year-old people, all of them, girls, boys, everybody. I don't know why has the author written them so mature and like they have seen a lot of things. I don't know. Yeah, they feel a lot mature than they should. Maybe because they don't have a conventional family with a loving mother and father. That's why they grew up on street. That is why maybe they feel so mature or whatsoever. But I always forget that they are only 16 to 18. But I'm loving it. I don't want to put it down because it's awesome, amazing to read. I think it's going to be a 5-star, but let's not jinx it. Fingers crossed. The next book that I'm reading currently is an ebook called Likeness by Tana French. It's the same author. By her I read In the Woods, gave it 4 stars. So now this story is about our detective Cassie. Okay, she was in the first book as well, and things happened. She came across a psycho killer. Now she is a little bit disturbed. That's why she left the murder squad. She's not a murder solving criminal catching detective, but she's in the domestic violence department where she only has to put abusive husbands and abusive wives into the jail. But now she has been called onto a murder scene where she has to identify a particular body, and when she reaches there, she's just shocked to see that body, because that body is her. That body is basically her. She looks exactly like her, and she's like shocked, what is happening? And when they look for the ID of that person, they found an ID on her, and that ID says Lexi Madison, and that's the same name that our protagonist used as an undercover to bust out a drug dealing in a college. She acted as a student in a particular college and used that name. That is a completely made up name. That character is a made up name. But why are they suddenly finding a body that has that name and looks exactly like Cassie, our protagonist? Why is that? So they have to now solve a murder. Why is my body double with my undercover name lying dead in here? So interesting, sounds very interesting. I can't see a way out of it. How can it be solved? But apparently it gets solved, and it is one of the most famous books of Tana French. I liked In the Woods so much, and I hope to love Likeness as well. So these are all the books that I had to talk to about. 7 books, 5 books I've already read, 2 books that I'm reading, and most of them were disappointment. These 3 were disappointment for me. This was good. This is, I'm hoping it was good. 8 Perfect Murders was good, and I hope Likeness is good as well. That was for the reading updates. I hope you had fun, because I had a lot of fun. I always wait when I have a bunch of books that I have to talk about.
you.